10 one-hit wonders from 1975. You've heard their songs at weddings, cookouts, late night radio, but you don't know their stories. And here's what nobody tells you. Most of them weren't supposed to be one-hit wonders at all. Some died too young, some got pushed aside by labels that didn't know what to do with them, and some just disappeared. These artists gave us songs that outlived their careers, and that deserves more than a footnote. Number 10, Carol Douglas, Doctor's Orders. Let's start with Carol Douglas. And if you grew up in the disco era, you remember this one, but here's what you probably don't know. Carol Douglas was Sam Cooke's cousin. Her mother, Minnie Newsom, was the inspiration for Cab Calloway's Minnie the Moocher. Please say you understand how. Music wasn't just in her blood, it was her inheritance. She'd been grinding for years, TV commercials, stage plays, small roles. When Midland International Records put out an ad looking for someone to cover a UK hit, Carol showed up. And here's the thing that gets me. They told her she sounded too black for radio, so she softened her delivery, made herself sound whiter, and it worked. Doctor's Orders hit number 11 pop, number 9 R&B in early 1975, sold close to 1 million copies, and then nothing. The follow-up stalled at 81. The industry moved on, and if you've ever had to change who you are just to get in the door, you know that's a different kind of success, one that doesn't always feel like winning.
I feel, honey, I know you got a lot of things on your mind.
Number 9, Hamilton Bohannon, Disco Stomp. Before Hamilton Bohannon had his own hit, he was playing drums behind a teenage Stevie Wonder. Then for Marvin Gaye, then for Diana Ross and the Supremes. When Motown moved from Detroit to LA in 1972, Bohannon stayed behind, said no to the machine, built his own thing. And that thing was a stripped-down, bass-heavy, relentless groove that became known as the Bohannon sound. Disco Stomp dropped in 1975. Number 6 in the UK, number 3 in Germany, but in America, barely a ripple. This country wasn't ready. And here's what's wild. His music didn't just influence disco, it basically wrote the blueprint for house music a decade later. Jay Dilla sampled him, Paul Johnson sampled him, Jay-Z sampled him, but by then, most people had no idea who Hamilton Bohannon even was. He kept making records until 1990, died in 2020, and if you've ever watched your work become famous in someone else's hands, you know how that sits. Real talk, only 9% of you watching this are actually subscribed. That hurts a little, not gonna lie. We spend hours digging through archives, fact-checking every detail, bringing these stories back to life because this music deserves to be remembered. And you're here because you care about that too. So if these videos mean something to you, if you've ever said, damn, I didn't know that, or felt something while watching, just hit subscribe. It's free, takes 2 seconds, and it tells YouTube to show this to more people who love this music like we do. Let's build this together. All right, back to the story. Number 8, faith, hope, and charity. To each his own. 3 singers from Tampa, Florida, Brenda Hilliard, Albert Bailey, and Diane Destry. They'd been grinding since 1966, under different names, different lineups, different record deals. Then Van McCoy came along. You know Van McCoy. We'll get to him later. He produced To Each His Own with strings so lush you could swim in them. And in 1975, that song went to #1 on the R&B chart. But here's what's strange. Faith, Hope, and Charity also sang backup on Van McCoy's The Hustle. Same year, same producer. His song became one of the biggest disco hits of all time. Theirs faded. To Each His Own only hit number 50 on the pop chart. The follow-up got to 38 in the UK and then disappeared. By 1978, the group was done. And if you've ever worked on two projects at the same time, watched one blow up while the other one just didn't, you know that's not about talent. That's about timing and luck and whatever else the universe decides to hand out. Number 7, Fly Robin Fly might be the strangest #1 hit of 1975. The singers on the record, Linda Thompson, Ramona Wolfe, Penny McLean, weren't even the original vocalists. The producers, Sylvester LeVay and Michael Kunze, recorded the instrumental first, then brought in whoever was available. Number 6, Shirley and Company. Shame, shame, shame.
Shame, 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 shame on you.
Now this one has layers.
'Cause you just won't move like my son wrote down.
Shirley Goodman wasn't new to the game in 1975. She'd been half of Shirley and Lee back in the 50s. They had a top 20 hit with Let the Good Times Roll in 1956. So we're talking almost 20 years before this song even happened.
Shame, 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 shame on you.
And who produced Shame, Shame, Shame? Sylvia Robinson. You might know her as one half of Mickey and Sylvia, or as the woman who would later sign Grandmaster Flash and basically invent hip-hop at Sugar Hill Records. But in 1975, she was just a producer with a hunch. The song hit #1 on the R&B chart, number 12, pop, even featured in the pilot episode of The Sopranos decades later. But Shirley and Company never charted again. Shirley Goodman kept working. Background vocals for the Rolling Stones, sessions for Dr. John. But she never had another moment like that one. She died in 2005. And if you've ever made a comeback only to watch it slip away again, you know that's its own kind of heartbreak. The second time hurts different. Number 5, Major Harris, Love Won't Let Me Wait.
Please tell me, yeah.
Major Harris spent years singing backup. The Jar Mills, the Teenagers, after Frankie Lyman left, then the Delphonics, where his tenor voice sat right next to William Hart's falsetto on songs like Think It Over.
And spend the night in Wonderland.
In 1975, he finally stepped out front. Love Won't Let Me Wait was written by Bobby Eli and Vinnie Barrett, the same team behind Blue Magic's Sideshow, and recorded at Sigma Sound in Philadelphia with the MFSB House Band.
I need your love so desperately.
And here's what made that song different. The moaning in the background, that was Barbara Ingram, real human vulnerability layered underneath those strings. The song hit #1 R&B, #5 pop, sold 1 million copies, became one of the first Quiet Storm records before Quiet Storm even had a name, but the follow-up, nothing.
Move a little close to me.
The album didn't connect, and Major Harris spent the rest of his career trying to recapture something that only happens once.
When I make love to you.
He died in 2012 in Richmond, Virginia, same city where he was born, 65 years old. And if you've ever slow danced to that song with someone you loved, you remember where you were. You remember how it felt.
For myself, and it's because of
Number 4, Van McCoy, The Hustle. Here's the thing about Van McCoy. Before The Hustle, he was already a legend. He wrote Baby I'm Yours for Barbara Lewis, produced Gladys Knight and the Pips, arranged songs for the Stylistics, discovered and managed Peaches and Herb. He wasn't looking for a hit for himself. He was finishing up an album called Disco Baby when his business partner dragged 2 dancers into the studio at midnight to show him this new thing happening at the clubs. Van McCoy watched them move, wrote The Hustle in an hour, recorded it that night. July 1975, number 1 pop, number 1 R&B, won a Grammy, sold 10 million copies worldwide, changed the way people danced. Suddenly, couples were holding each other again, and then he never came close to repeating it. The Shuffle did well in the UK, but nothing in the States. By 1979, Van McCoy was dead, heart attack, 39 years old, and here's what stays with me. The man who wrote 700 songs, produced dozens of artists, shaped the sound of Philadelphia soul, and the world only remembers him for one, the one he wrote in an hour. Number 3, LaBelle, Lady Marmalade.
On the street, she said, hello, hey, Joe.
I know what you're thinking. Patti LaBelle, she's not forgotten. She's an icon. But here's the thing. LaBelle, the group, is not the same as Patti LaBelle, the solo artist. And Lady Marmalade was LaBelle's only number 1 hit ever. Written by Bob Crewe and Kenny Nolan, produced by Alan Toussaint. And when Patti first saw the lyrics, Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? She had no idea what it meant. Found out later it was asking if you wanted to sleep with someone. She was mortified. The song hit number 1 on March 29th, 1975. It actually replaced another Crewe and Nolan song, Frankie Valli's My Eyes Adored You, making them only the 3rd songwriting team in history to replace themselves at the top. But LaBelle never got back there. They broke up in 1977. Patti went solo. Nona Hendryx did her own experimental thing. Sarah Dash faded into the background. And that song, it's been covered, sampled, reimagined by everyone from All Saints to Christina Aguilera. But the original, that raw, funky, Toussaint produced version with the meters on backing, that's the one. And for most people, it's the only LaBelle song they know. Number 2, People's Choice, Do It Any Way You Wanna. Philadelphia, 1975. The TSOP sound was everywhere, and People's Choice rode that wave harder than almost anyone. Do It Any Way You Wanna hit number 1 R&B, number 11 pop. It had that Philly groove, the strings, the bass, the hand claps, everything you wanted from a dance record that year. But here's the problem with being part of a sound. When that sound changes, you change with it or you disappear. Disco was rising. The raw funk that defined TSOP was getting polished into something shinier, smoother. People's Choice had a couple more minor hits, but nothing that touched that first moment. By the 80s, they were gone. And you probably don't remember their name. But if you've been to a party where everyone suddenly hit the dance floor at the same time, moving without thinking, letting the music take over, that's what this song was. That's what they gave us. And sometimes that's enough, even if the industry forgets. Number 1, Minnie Riperton, Lovin' You.
Loving you is more than.
And finally, number 1, Minnie Riperton had a 5-octave range, not 4, 5. She could hit notes that most people didn't even know existed.
Each day in the springtime, 'cause loving you.
That whistle register you hear on Lovin' You, that wasn't a gimmick. That was her. She'd been singing since the 60s. Backup for Etta James, Chuck Berry, Muddy Waters at Chess Records.
We will live each day in the springtime, 'cause
Lead vocalist for the psychedelic soul band Rotary Connection, and then backup for Stevie Wonder and Wonderlove.
you is all I wanna do.
She was everywhere and nowhere at the same time. Stevie produced Perfect Angel in 1974, had to use a fake name because of his Motown contract, called himself El Toro Negro. And Lovin' You was the 4th single from that album. Almost didn't get released. April 5th, 1975, number 1. And if you listen closely at the end, you can hear her singing, Maya. Maya?
With me while we grow old and we will live.
That's her daughter, Maya Rudolph, the one who grew up to be on Saturday Night Live.
Stay with me while we grow old.
1 year later, Minnie was diagnosed with breast cancer. The disease had already spread to her lymphatic system. Doctors gave her 6 months. She lived 3 more years, toured, recorded, became a spokesperson for the American Cancer Society.
Has made my life so beautiful.
Died July 12, 1979, 31 years old. And on her grave it says, Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful.
The colors that you bring.